you? Happy Thursday. Here we are again. These weeks are going faster and faster and faster. It's just kind of crazy to me. So, how are you faring with the ridiculous hour we gave back earlier this week? Because I have to be honest, I struggled this entire freaking week. Like, really, really struggled. I mean, it is just unfathomable to me how one little piece of hour out of 24 hours in a day can throw everything off. Literally, I just couldn't catch myself this week. So freaking tired. Um, I had to force myself to actually do something I don't do a lot during the week, which is to actually take a rest or even a short power nap. And I'm really not a power napper, but this week I found it very difficult to find clarity of thought and or to perform at my optimal levels without sleep. And I was also pulling some late hours, so I need to preface it with that. But just crazy. And so here we are, and I'm glad tomorrow. Oh, actually, what am I saying? Today is Friday. Woo woo. I am glad that today is Friday. You see, I told you. Got me all screwed up. One little piece of hour. 1 hour. So, what am I going to talk to you guys about? First, before I get into a bit of something that I want to address, let me tell you what's going on the blog. So this week I tackled the unpolitical worker. What does that even mean? You're probably thinking. So I wanted to kind of take a dive into what does politics in the workplace do to somebody who isn't really a political person, who really doesn't give a flying crap about politics. And I know I am that person. I was that person. I just never gave a damn, quite frankly, about politics. Now, that didn't mean that I wouldn't show diplomacy in certain situations. It didn't mean that I didn't know how to garner buy-in when that was needed. But I just didn't like the ugly, undercutting kind of crap that is politics. I didn't. And so I've recently gotten into House of Cards. I'm kind of tardy to the party, but in watching House of Cards, it's so freaking filthy. I think I mentioned this on the last video. It's just so filthy. And some part of House of Cards to me is so true. Like, I completely believe, honestly, that that's how Washington operates. Like, I believe it. I think in this case that art is in some regard imitating life and not the other way around. I just see so much truth in that show. And in thinking about my obsession with it of late, I just kind of started to think about like how did I feel as a worker in that environment, and what would I want my employer or my ex-employers to know about how I felt in those situations, and why they shouldn't be trying to like urge me down the road of politics. Because the fact of the matter is politics requires some, I guess, sense of being manipulative, in my opinion. And so there are some people that are just naturally manipulative, and that is fine. And so you don't have to convince them of how to play the game or that they should even play the game. They're just manipulative. They get it. It's their space, and they do that. I, on the other hand, not a manipulator, not my thing. Didn't take up politics in school, civics, or any of that shit. So I really don't care. And I think it's important to understand all segments of your workforce. At least that's what I try to bring to the table at the aristocracy of HR. So enough about that, but I wanted to kind of just give you the background on what this week's article was about. And of course, if you haven't read it yet, then you can find that at the aristocracyofhr.com. Before I let you go, I just wanted to kind of throw this out there. I remain perplexed by this whole phenomena of people who can't walk a day in other people's shoes. So what do I mean? I've never shied away from the fact that, like, as a Black woman in America at this point in time, as a Black person in general at this point in time in America, there's just so much turmoil, so much nonsense, so much ill rhetoric that it's disgusting. But I just love the inability of people to not be able to see when something is a duck and it quacks like a freaking duck, that it's a damn duck. So that is to say that, like, yes, we can come up with a myriad of solutions to the issues that we have in the US at the moment. But the fact of the matter is, there is a system, an institution called racism, an institution of injustice that lives in the US. It's been here for years, and it's reaching a fever pitch at the moment, that prevents people like myself and other people of color from being successful. Now, I personally refuse for anybody to prevent me from being successful. So I push, I push, I push. I put myself in situations where I can be successful. I push, I do things above and beyond so that I can be successful. And so there's something to be said about that. Nobody will hold me down. I ain't having it. But that said, there are limits. There are limits, whether you recognize them or you want to recognize them or not, on how far people of color can go and what they can achieve in the climate that we have in the US at the moment. And so I just wish, because I'm so open to having very open conversations with anybody from any background about what's going on, but I just wish people were not so myopic in terms of how they were viewing what's going on right now, or how they view the plight of a colored person, period, end. It ain't that simple. If it was that simple, we'd be doing it. We'd all be skipping in the valleys with money in our pocket, money in our banks, etc., etc. It ain't that simple. So that's just my little soapbox, because I've had a few discussions this week with people, and I get that some people are just not there. They just don't understand, and that's fine. But I find it so fascinating, the inability of some people to put themselves in another person's position and understand that that is their experience, and that is not even just their experience singularly, but that's the experience of many people. So, when you say the many, it's quantifiable, and it's not something you can ignore, and you can't say, oh, we'll just do this because that's the magic bullet. There's no magic bullet. It's an institution. It has to be worked from that end. So I had to say it because I've discussed race relations here before. I've not shied away from it, and this just sticks in my craw. But there you go. There you have it. So, as I said, new stuff on the aristocracy of HR. Check out my Unpolitical Worker article, and thank you so much for viewing. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, I would be so grateful if you would subscribe to this channel, because I really am trying to be here regularly and offering value on my blog, and kind of giving you an inside look into what goes on up here. So I hope you like it. I hope you stick around. Please subscribe. Definitely leave me some comments below and let me know what you think about anything that I said in this particular video. And in future episodes, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have around the world of work, entrepreneurship, motherhood, anything in that realm. So feel free to comment below, and I will get back to you, and I will certainly be happy to answer any of your questions. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of the week and weekend, and I'll see you right back here